Ahem. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Breakdown, where we talk about everything cars, news, and reviews. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Just yesterday, Honda released their all-new Prius. Oh, it's not a Prius. Just 1 second. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Breakdown, where we talk about everything cars, news, and reviews. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Honda just released their all-new Prelude, and the Prelude, for all you people who don't know, is a legend. See what I did there? Is a legend in the Honda community and pretty much, very much fabled as one of the greatest cars to ever come out of the Honda lineup. Now, this particular vehicle is quite different from any other Prelude that we have seen alongside any other Honda. And what I found interesting is that this new Prelude is completely different and goes back to the legendary coupes of yesteryear that we once knew about Honda. But is this Prelude going to do the job, and can it handle the workload of what Honda has cut in front of it? Well, that's for us to answer through this video. So stick around and stay tuned, because you are now watching the Breakdown. Lights, please. As always, if you're new to the channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. It always means a lot to me, more so than the algorithm. So, just recently at the Tokyo Auto Show, the Honda Prelude was unveiled as a surprise, 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 surprise for the car community. I've got a few things that I want to talk about, but before I get started, I want you guys to understand that, as always, this is an analysis, so please keep that in mind as I'm going through this video. In this video, we'll be going over quite a few things. One of the things we'll be going over is style. We'll be going over initial impressions. We'll be going over specs and speculations and the potential future of this vehicle. So I will try to leave the chapters in there if you guys just want to shift around. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. The Prelude basically came out around the 1980s, early 80s, and through that time, it was seen as the sportier alternative to the Accord. Even though the Accord was already sporty in its own right, this new Prelude is unlike any other Prelude we've seen before, as it is the first to step into the EV space, as Honda doesn't really have a EV. Now, there was some clarification by Car and Driver, and the people at Honda have acclaimed that this will not necessarily be an EV, but it will be a hybrid. In terms of style, the style is absolutely a Prius. I'm kidding, it is not a Prius. Now, I do believe that there are some regulatory things that go along with the design team where they have to comply with certain things, and that's why we see certain elements that kind of align and mirror other car companies alongside the one that we see in front of us. Now, Honda did a great job at the bulge of the hood. The hood, if you look at the two pinpoints right by the headlights, you'll see there's these creases, and I would think that those go back to the original NSX. Honda did that as kind of a trademark to their cars. If you look at those things, you see that those are some elements that Honda basically did as a throwback to the early 90s and pretty much gave a 21st century spin on what we see today. Now, I will tell you that in terms of styling choices, I actually do like the coupe design, as it gives us a little bit of hope that Honda does believe that these coupes will sell. Now, the roofline was very low slung and kind of gave a little bit more of an elongated lift back look. Not quite, because there is a trunk. According to TFL, they said that there were some crease lines in the rear that kind of gave indication that it was more a trunk, not necessarily a lift back. Now, in terms of overarching design, this Prelude is kind of the first step into Honda's step into the EV hybrid space. Not necessarily their hybrids of yesteryear, where it was kind of boring. This is kind of our first exciting hybrid next to the NSX, and this is kind of our first time seeing Honda demonstrate that they have the capabilities to give us something a little more funky. They're kind of like the key cars over in Japan, and which would make sense because that is the Tokyo Auto Show that this was unveiled at. Now, I will go ahead and say this much. In terms of the color, I love the concept color, and Honda does a great job when it comes to their concept colors. I guess I would like to think that a lot of their premium choices come from their manufacturing plant in Ohio, particularly their Acura Precision plant. And this is just all theoretical and speculative, but I would like to think that they use a lot of their premium paints to make sure that the concepts look light and bright, and this white really demonstrated that you can come up with a nice crisp, white crisp. Them 100 bills was slapping our asses. But the initial color really showed true to Honda's championship heritage with the white, and we all know that also was a part of the Type R legacy and the Integra Type R legacy. So the white kind of signifies the championship legacy that they're trying to get us in that right direction. Now, in terms of the front, I will say that the LEDs were interesting. I don't know if I really care for them, and it's not because they're ugly, but more so because we have seen some similar designs in the Toyota Prius, and the Prius really dynamically changed the way that I viewed hybrids and how they could look. So the initial shock of the Prius is worn out, and unfortunately, I don't feel like the Prelude has really shocked me in terms of design. Had the Prelude done this before the Prius, I do believe that I would have been shook, bitch, and I'd have been like, okay, yes, slay. But that's not what happened. So because it didn't happen, I can't give it to Honda. Now, in terms of the LED bar in the back, it is very Porsche. I fucking love that look. I love that Honda spelled out the name on the back as well as Prelude, and they used a particular font of Prelude. And if you guys don't know anything, if you've ever played Gran Turismo, that was kind of my first exposure, because obviously I was like, what, 6 or 7 or some shit. But that was my first exposure to the Prelude, and that was kind of the first time that I really saw the cool, quirky factors that went into the Prelude, even though it wasn't all that fast, but it was pretty interesting. And the old model had the 2.2 liter H engine, and so that was the one that really kind of took everybody who didn't quite want the Accord Coupe, and they went over to the Prelude. The Prelude also came with a 4-wheel steer. Now, in terms of the motors, we don't really know the engine specs of what this car is going to yield. As always, Honda's very hush-hush, because I guess they think they're secretive or some shit. I don't know what that's about. Trade secrets, who cares? Toss me in the trash. But Honda is always very hush-hush about the specs up until the last moment. It could go either way. I would be very curious to see if they come up with a precision all-wheel steer-esque style, because that type of Honda would definitely give us not only a retro throwback to what it used to be, but also a new innovation, because I don't know of any type of all-wheel steer systems, and I could be wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments and below if that's something that y'all have seen before. But the motors definitely will more than likely be front-wheel drive, because Honda is more so about efficiency, but it would come to appear that more and more companies are playing with those electric motors, both front and rear, to see if they can get the best type of drive feel. And so we don't necessarily have any type of engine specs. We don't know about the battery. We don't know about the kilowattage. We don't know about the mileage. All of those things will come in time of development, as with most concepts. But this concept, according to many of the other journalists that were out there, a lot of it looks very much production ready. Many of them did not get a chance to get the interior, which of course, like I said, Honda always does this shit. I'd be so tired of them. I'm like, pack it up, delicious, damn. But Honda really kind of surprised us with this one, and I don't know if I'm surprised. I don't really know how to feel about this one. And so in terms of sales potential and overarching design, specs aside, I don't know how well this will do. This is probably the one that stumped me in the latest couple of years. But the overall packaging is a coupe, and it is not a sedan, and that's by design, because That's by design because Honda wanted to get us back into the
fun stages of Honda. Because
let's be honest, Honda in the last couple of years has been very stale. If you haven't seen that video about Honda's identity crisis, go check that out, because I do explore where Honda used to be versus where they are now, and that ties directly into what I'm talking about today. Ultimately, it is about whether or not the car is going to sell and it's getting the people talking. And I would need a couple of more moments from Honda, a couple of more models, a couple of more ideas to really believe if they're going to be able to sell me on the idea that they can have a sporty coupe line and it be successful. Overall, we will get more information of this down the road, but I wanted to be sure that I covered this. Be on the lookout for a few more videos coming out from me, because I have several that are going to debut. I'm going to do better about trying to get this stuff rolled out, even though the production on this is a mess. But anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Honda Prelude. If you think it will be a success, if you like it, if you think it does the job, or if you think Honda's wasting their time. And until then, if you haven't already, go check out that video about Honda and their stagnated identity, because they're struggling right now. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later.